Hi everyone, so for today's video I'm just going to be showing you how to make a very simple gatefold card but in landscape. To make this easier, because I'm using A4 UK cardstock and our cardstock is 11 3/4 by 8 1/4. So instead of having to kind of measure into the 16ths, I've cut my A4 down to 11.5. So it's 11.5 by 8 1/4, and then I've cut it straight down the middle. So each one of these pieces is 4 1/8 by 11.5. So I've got my Simply scoreboard. I'm going to put the piece of card onto my Simply scoreboard on the 11.5-inch side, and I'm going to score at 2 7/8. Then I'm just going to flip it and score at 2 7/8 again. Now I've got 2, so I might as well make them both while I'm here. So 2 7/8, flip it, and 2 7/8. Because I've got everything ready, I've done all my colouring, I've got all my matting layers and everything cut out, so I might as well make 2 cards. So now this is where I've just scored, so I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to fold in and burnish on that fold line, and then I'm going to fold this one in, and these should meet up now more or less perfectly. So that's one. Then I'm going to do the other one. I mean, if you're bothered about whether they do match up or not, score one with your scoreboard, fold it in, and then just bring the other one over. But I think these are lining up more or less about right. So I'll show you what I've done already. I've got some designer series paper from the Storybook Gnomes suite, and this particular one on the back has all the gnome houses, so I've cut 2 gnome houses from the paper, and then one of the papers also has all the different gnomes already on it. So again, I've cut one of those out. Now I did use my ScanNCut for those, but there are dies, and this one I stamped and cut and I've coloured it in. And then I've got, from the stitched rectangle dies, I've used the 4th and 5th from the middle. So you can see when I put those back in, that's the 4th and that's the 5th. And from the 4th, I've cut those in white. And from the 5th, I've cut one in Bermuda Bay and one in Pacific Point, because this is Pacific Point. And in this paper that I'm going to use, this is Bermuda Bay, I think, from memory. So I'm just going to put that on one side for now, and we'll just do one. So on here now, I'm going to mat my designer series paper. These layers have been cut at 2 5/8 by 3 7/8, and they're just going to go on the front of the card. I'm going to use my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. Bring my card in and position that one layer. And then layer this one up centrally so it lines up with that one. So that's how that's looking now. Then I've got my piece of Pacific Point, so I'm going to layer this up with my piece of white, and I'm just going to stick this down flat like so. And then this is just going to stick on one half of the card so that you can open it. So, but I'm going to raise it up, so I'm going to put some dimensionals. So if I turn this over and I kind of centralise it to the card, I can see where I need my dimensionals. So I'm just going to put 3 dimensionals on there, and then try and position this as best I can. So that's how that's looking now. And then I've got my gnome and my little gnome house to go on the front like so. So I'm going to stick this one down flat. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there just to hold it down. And then I'm going to pop the gnome up on a couple of dimensionals. As you can see, this was cut from the designer series paper. I'm going to pop that there like so. Then obviously you can stamp your greeting on the inside and you can embellish as much as you want. So I'm going to use the Fine Sparkle adhesive backed gems because they're part of this gnome suite. Got my take your pick tool. I'm just going to wind up some putty so it starts to come out and then loosen it off once it starts to come out. And then I think for this one I'm going to use these because they'll match the gnome hat. But you know, you could use anything. So we'll have 3. Have 1 over there. And then in the Kindest Gnomes stamp set, you've got your kindness does not go unnoticed. You've got warm wishes and you know me so well. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I think I'll go for Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bring in one of my blocks. And then I'll just stamp this. I think I'll just use Memento Tuxedo Black for this. So I'll just ink this up. Hopefully this will be okay. Put that maybe in the middle. And that's card 1. So I'm just going to do card 2 now. Exactly the same. So here's my scored pieces. Bring in my paper. Stick my layers down. And this ends up more or less the same size as our UK A6 cards because we've only chopped off 1/4 of an inch from its length. So this is my basic white with my Bermuda Bay. Again, I'm just going to turn it over, place it centrally so I can see where to put my Stampin' dimensionals. Position this centrally, bring my little gnome house in, put some glue on the back. You don't need a lot, you're only sticking paper down. Pop that down like so, and then my little gnome that I've coloured in now, I've given him a Bermuda Bay hat because that's the colour, as I say, that's in the paper and that's the colour of the cardstock I've used. I've done some pool party just on his beard. I've given him smoky slate, boots and gloves. And I know there doesn't look much difference, but this on the little lantern is grey granite with mango melody in the middle. But it will all be listed under the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. And there's always an accompanying blog post to every YouTube video on my website here at Apple Lover 53 if you go to the blog post and just look for the picture of this project. So again, let me just put the glue on that, the lid on my glue, sorry. Again, just going to do the Merry Christmas. Smudge that one a little bit, and bring in, I'm going to use the pinky ones because of the kind of pinky colour in the gnome house for this one. So that's that one. So 2 cards made from 1 A4 sheet of paper, slightly different opening than normal. and using the Storybook Gnomes Designer Series paper, and on this one I've just used the Kindest Gnomes, this little guy here, for that one, only because I didn't have any ready pre-cut from the Designer Series paper, else I would have done that the same. So that's today's project. I hope you like it. Please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.